Okay, Alan, the stream is live now. I'm going to make you host again. You can make me the co-host.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good. So
Yeah.
people are slowly making their way in.
Yeah, I had a little trouble getting in.
Did you?
Yeah, so that may be what's going on.
Well, the rest of the class must be having the same problem.
Yeah.
Where are you, Pat?
In New York. Yeah, right now I'm in Queens. You said you're in New Mexico, right?
Yeah, but I grew up in Queens.
Ah, I grew up in Brooklyn. Parents moved us out to Queens in high school, which was many. I live in Manhattan, but I'm taking care of my 93-year-old mom. So I'm out here in Queens with her. Yeah, but I intend to move to New Mexico when I retire.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
love
popular place. People like to retire here.
Yeah, it's lovely. I think it's either Florida or New Mexico, right? Or Arizona.
Right. Depends on, some of it, people and your heart connection, but also climate. It's very different.
Yeah, there's something about New Mexico that I just love. When I went there the first time, I connected,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, they call it, the nickname is the land of enchantment.
Yeah.
Some people call it the land of entrapment. It just kind of calls you in. It's not really that you're trapped, but
Right. I love the smell of that pinon wood. Oh my gosh, I love that. That was, I think, the first thing that really got me. And then the fact that it's hot and it's cold. I don't like the heat, so I like being cold. So
don't go to Arizona then.
No. Oh no, never. Never. And I had lived in California for a while. I would move back to California, but it's so expensive. It's crazy. It's like New York, So.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know where everybody is. There's just a few of you right now. And usually there's quite a few people in this class. So I don't know if other people are having a problem getting in or but why don't we do this while we're waiting, since it's just a few of us? Okay, maybe it's usually like suddenly the names all start popping up at once, but I'm not really seeing that either. Kind of interesting. Anyway, let me just welcome everybody to Qigong for Beginners, and we are on the Get Set Up live stream. I will start our class recording. All right. So I'm Ellen Shapiro. I'm coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I'm happy to teach a small class, but I'm just wondering where the other people are. Okay, maybe they're just, did anyone else have a problem getting in? Was it difficult or slow? Or Pat said she did, but.
Actually, this is the first time I didn't have a problem.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Go figure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me know. And yeah, so I'm just, I really do think some people are coming in. So just really quickly, if anyone who's been to this class before or, regularly, I invite you, if you'd like to, no pressure, but just to unmute yourself and just share what benefits you've gotten from Qigong. What is it doing for you? So just people, I can tell you things, but maybe just get an idea from other people or why you like it, why you keep coming back. So anyone want to share anything? Feel free.
Yes, okay, good morning.
Yeah, hi.
Actually, I tried it, but several years ago. And where I live now, it's not really available in Virginia. I just haven't seen it offered.
Yeah. So, well, you're here. So you found a way to get your Qigong, which is beautiful. And yeah, so if anyone else, and you may find that if you've done Qigong elsewhere, you may see some overlap in things I do, and you may see some completely different things because Qigong is vast. There are so many different forms and styles of it. And that, I think it makes it interesting and fascinating. It's just so old. It's thousands of years old. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think we should move into, so the way I teach this beginner's class is there's a very brief slide presentation in the beginning of just some basic information about Qigong. So you have a framework for understanding what we're doing. And then we'll go into the movement. So there's in the chat, Kevin, our teaching assistant, is here. And if you have any issues with Zoom or any technical support, he is here for that. Just type a message in the chat. All right. And for the class, you will want to have me on speaker view where I'm large and everybody else is in a small box. If I'm in a little box, then change it up because that's gallery view. And that's a setting that you have to change. All right, let's go into our slide here. Oops. What happened here? Okay, I don't know. The introductory slide is not showing, but anyway, welcome. I'm Ellen Shapiro. And as we were just talking about, I grew up in New York. I lived in Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, New Jersey, which isn't really New York, but it kind of is. And then I moved here to Santa Fe. I had a career in accounting and it was a secure job, but just sitting at a desk all day for somebody who loves to move, that was hard. So I changed and became an energy healer and then got trained in different movement kinds of styles, including Qigong and Ageless Grace, which I teach here. I'm an EFT or tapping practitioner, and I'm a coach that works with women. And, on a number of things, including self-care and really honoring our bodies. And why am I here on Get Set Up is because I love to teach. I am the daughter of two teachers who swore she would never be a teacher because my parents were in the New York City school system and they weren't too happy with things that went on there. So I actually, now I teach in a way that is much more suits me better. And it's all about sharing what I know in my lifetime of experience and training to help you feel better, to feel healthier and more empowered to take care of yourself. And Get Set Up is this wonderful platform that has grown like hugely since it just started right before the pandemic, and it's just was the right thing at the right time for sure. And it's, where older adults are teaching other older adults to empower you to do more wonderful things and stay healthy. And most of you have your cameras on. I invite anyone who doesn't to have your camera on for the sense of community. Of course, you don't have to. It's totally up to you. And sometimes there's reasons, there's background stuff or some other reason you need to have it off. You can request a recording from the class, and the email address is help@getsetup.io. So, yeah, Kevin, if you're hearing this part, could you just type that into the chat for everybody? And if not, I will do it later. So if you're watching this on the live stream, welcome. And to participate even more fully, register for the class, then we can interact directly. And please do practice along with us. And just a note that Get Set Up is not paid to promote anything specific, products or services. All right, here's what we do in this class. So I'm just going to really introduce you to what Qigong is, where it comes from, why practice it, who can benefit, some basic principles that we work with in Qigong. And the idea is teaching you simple Qigong you can try at home. So as we go through class, sort of stay alert to something we do that seems like, I really like that, or that feels like that would be really good, or your body just goes like, yeah, that feels great. And make a mental note of that. And then, if you can remember it from the class, great. If not, you can get the recording and just review it. And of course, if you keep coming to class, you'll learn these things more organically. So I always talk to people a lot about intention, because intention is powerful. It makes us pay more attention and it shifts things. So even just asking yourself, what do I want to learn today? Or what would I like to help in my body? All right, so what is Qigong? This oddly spelled word. So it's not Qigong, which some people say, and I mean, I understand why you would pronounce it that way. It's Qigong, and that word QI is also sometimes spelled CHI. And it's an ancient healing art and form of movement from China. And it's part of Chinese medicine. It's not like an extra little self-help thing. It's actually really a powerful form of healing. So alongside acupuncture, which we all know about, Chinese herbs, and even the Asian bodywork, along with that is Qigong. So the word itself comes from two words. The word Qi, which refers to your energy, your life force energy, your vitality, your healing energy. You can call it a lot of different things, but that's what we're talking about. And the Qi is, here we're talking about subtle energy. So I like to make the comparison to electricity. You can't see electricity, right? I mean, the actual thing that's like, we could see a lightning flash, we could see a spark, but we can't actually see electricity. It's like an invisible energy. Well, this is very similar. Actually, the body has an electrical energy in it. And that's what those EKGs measure, right? They measure the electrical activity of the heart. So the Qi is like an invisible energy that gives power to the body. The word Gong is the cultivation, building, or the work of the Qi. Maybe I need to change that to the play of the Qi, since it seems like life is too serious and too much about work. But it's just this idea that you can build and cultivate your life force energy. So we have a certain amount, and then we can either add to it, enhance it, or use it up. So Qigong is a way of, again, building and strengthening your vitality. Who can do Qigong? And the answer is, if you can move, you can do Qigong. You can get benefits practicing in a chair. So I will demonstrate primarily, standing up. That's usually how it's taught, but you can do it in a chair for great results. And the reason to do it in a chair is if your energy is weak, if you find that as we practice, you start out standing and your back starts to really hurt you, or you feel some discomfort in your legs, that's like, it just feels, there's like a discomfort of doing something unfamiliar, but it feels like good, that's okay. But the discomfort that says like, I don't know if this is good for me, this doesn't feel good, if you're feeling that, that's a sign to do it in a chair. And, it's how I started. So I found Qigong after a knee injury, and I really couldn't stand. I couldn't even walk that well. So I practiced in a chair for about 2 months. And then I started experimenting with, okay, I can stand up for 3 repetitions, then I sit, and I built it up from there. So I'm saying that just to take away any kind of stigma or thinking it might be lesser to practice in a chair. Qigong is very gentle, and it's, again, a healing movement. And it's for anyone that wants to improve their health, have more energy, strengthen your immune system, and balance your emotions. So most people would like that. They're not all going to come to Qigong, but that's what it can offer you. And typically people say they feel a lot calmer, more relaxed, but it also gives you a kind of smooth, gentle energy, maybe like a little more alertness, a little bit more, pep, let's say, but not like super stimulated like coffee or something like that. So Qigong offers you support for recovering. So it's both recovering from something and health maintenance, or improving from wherever you are right now. And I think it's beautiful that I'm teaching this Qigong here on Get Set Up to older adults, because this is the Chinese tradition that people over 50 are doing Qigong and Tai Chi, or maybe one or both. And you might have seen this, I don't know, like in San Francisco. I used to see this in New York, in Chinatown. You'd see some of the people out in the park practicing in the morning. That's way before I knew what this was. So stress release, healing, rejuvenation. Who doesn't want that, right? Okay. All right, basic principles of Qigong. Again, Qigong is Chinese medicine, so the same principles apply. And our goal is to get the qi flowing through the body. Stuck qi or stagnant qi is where it gets, maybe it's just not like, and that often happens in a joint. Let's say, you have some arthritis or some stiffness in your wrist. So the qi is not flowing from your hand to your arm, or vice versa. That's a typical thing that they might say in Chinese medicine, is any place of stiffness, pain, dysfunction, the life force energy is not flowing freely through that area. So that's our goal, is to get that unstuck and moving. I talk a lot about grounding and moving from your roots. And grounding is having a feeling of your feet connected to the floor, and a sense that we are connected to the earth. Since we're indoors and we spend a lot of time indoors, we can sometimes forget that, or we're up in a high rise. So this grounding gives you stability and calmness, and it makes you more resilient. So moving with awareness, and that's just becoming aware of, how am I moving? And am I holding my breath? Am I building tension up in my body? And there's a number of reasons to become aware. One is just general self-awareness. So if I'm rushing down the street in New York and I'm on my cell phone and I'm not looking where I'm going, that's not really, and a lot of people do that, I know. But I'm not really aware. So, I could bump into somebody could smack me, somebody could come up behind me and, try and pickpocket me. So and that's very defensive. But in general, whether you're in a crowded city street or driving your car or even walking out in the country, it's important to have some awareness of where you are in time and space. And, so you don't hurt yourself either, you don't trip on something. So relaxation, the 80% rule, is about moving with relaxation. And first of all, it's just better for your body. Tension is where when we start tensing up something, or the opposite, where we're like pushing too hard, that's where we get injuries, right? So relaxation allows the qi to flow more easily in the body. You can breathe more, and you'll actually get more benefit from the practice when you do it in a relaxed way. So that's why there's this 80% rule that says, okay, 100%, let's give an example. So I sometimes talk about extending your limbs. So if I lock my arm, there's no bend in that elbow, that's 100%, right, of extension. So 80% is about here, and my arm can be more relaxed, and my body isn't protectively trying to stop me from injuring myself. So we stay within our capacity. The 80% rule could also apply to somebody who came to my class, and he was very enthusiastic about it. And I said, just play with, especially depends on what condition you're in. And even if you're athletic, the way we're moving in Qigong is standing in one place with our body weight. And we're doing things that are usually unfamiliar. So it's more of a workout than it looks like from the outside. But I just said, okay, 100% capacity, or maybe for him it was more, because he said he came back to class, he said his back hurt. He said, today I'm going to practice in the chair. I said, good. So you're finding out where your body is right now and what its capacity is, and you're staying within that limit. So for somebody, the 80% rule might be I practice the whole class in a chair, or I experiment, I go back and forth. All right, so this is the Qigong for Beginners class, and in every class I start with these slides, but then I try and vary up what we're doing because some people are coming back to class and I don't want to just do the same exact thing every week. And there's lots to choose from. So I think that's the end of the slideshow. Yep. And you will get some notes after class too. So, right. Oh my God, I don't think I was sharing the screen. Did you see the slides? Just somebody let me know. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. You were supposed to see these slides. And I forgot to click screen share because I was about to turn it off.
Well, we did. I definitely heard everything you said.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
And you said that you're going to send us these
I don't,
slides. Yeah.
Well, I
So
don't usually.
It's
yeah,
good. It's good.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't usually send the slides, but I will because you didn't see them. And they're really just words. It's not like there's not like visuals. So, all right. Apologies. Okay. Let's continue. So let's come up to standing and we'll start moving. Okay. That's a first. Okay. All right. So let's see. All right, I think I'm in a good spot. I'm being a little perfectionist here. Move the camera over a teeny bit. All right. So let's just enter our practice with just a simple bow. Let's imagining we're really in a practice space together, which we are. It's just virtual. So welcome to Qigong practice. All right, let's start with just shaking out our energy. And that's one way of getting the Qi, getting the life force moving. So I'm just going to gently shake my hands. And for anyone that has arthritis or just like a sensitive system, and really just in general, any movement that I do, if it feels too much, do it smaller, like that. Or not at all, and visualize yourself doing it in your mind, which actually does have an effect on the body, believe it or not. So shaking out, getting that shaking, moving it up the arms, into the elbows, up into the shoulders. And it's early in the day. I'm pretty sure everybody's on a US time zone here, but it's whatever time of day it is, it doesn't matter really. We're just going to shake out like this. Let's do a couple more. And on this one, exhale through your nose like a snort. One more. And what that is, that That's like flicking off tension and also any negativity, any worries, any negative thoughts. If you've picked up anything from anyone or the news or anything, so it's great for any time of day, even in the morning. Let's do one more just for good measure. We flick out. All right. Let's do something similar with our feet and legs, but first, just feel your feet, just making contact. I recommend practicing barefoot if you're able to, or in socks with something so you're not going to slip. But I also like to have a little cushioning. So I'm on a carpet on a yoga mat, and that's individual preferences. You don't have to have a yoga mat at all. I just found that really works for a little cushioning under my feet. If you need the support of a shoe or you have orthotics, of course you can practice in shoes, but we do work with the feet, and this is important for grounding. We have all these nerve cells and receptors in our feet that are designed to help us feel the ground underneath us, and that's part of maintaining balance. Okay, so just feeling your feet, let's just rock forward and back. You can lift the heels slightly, lift the toes, just going back and forth and keeping a little bend in the knees. All right, so now, hopefully that gave you a little sense of grounding. Now, press down into the left foot. And if you're not sure about your balance, or you know it's needing some help, then just automatically take a chair. Otherwise, you can just press into it. So you put your weight on that leg, and we're just going to flick 3 times to the front, to the side, and to the back. And we're just, again, releasing stagnation, stuck energy. And then go to the other foot. Just demonstrate with the chair. And I'm just using it for a little extra support here. Okay, this leg is pretty straight, but just slightly bending the knee. 1, 3 to the side, 3 to the back. All right, then let's just do a little whole body shaking now. Just let it all jiggle, wiggle. So this is one way, actually, of activating the chi in the body. This is good for the lymph also. All right. What else? Let's do some more warm-ups, and then we'll go into more active Qigong. So rub your hands together and bring your feet close together. We're going to take this warmth that we're building up here and flow it into our knees. And I'll show you how to do it. If this is awkward for you, then you can sit in a chair for this. I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to go, I'm circling around the knees, just around, just over, just below, and right on the knees in a circle. And then I'm going to go the other way. If this is awkward or you feel uncomfortable with your head down, sit in a chair to do this. And let's just massage all around the knees. Very important joint to warm up. Let's warm up our feet and ankles a little bit. So once more, using the chair if you need to, I'm going to lift one heel. This is my right, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to do both. And I'm pressing into the ball of my foot. First, I'm just doing a small movement that's really mostly my foot and my ankle, both directions. And then we'll go a little bit bigger. So now I'm moving the whole leg in a circle and reverse the direction. All righty, switch it up. So I begin again by lifting the heel, pressing into the ball, and just a little, it's really more for the toes, the ball of the foot, and the ankle here. It could be a circle, or this isn't exactly really a circle, but. Okay, and now bigger. Now this is definitely a circle, moving it in a full motion, other way. Okay, let's just warm up our hips with we'll do a fairly narrow stance. So that would be, this is about hip width, which I don't know if that seems narrow. This is really narrow, but here's hip width. That's a nice grounded stance. And sometimes we even do shoulder width where the foot's a little bit wider, maybe like that. So for this one, hip width. And with everything we do in Qigong, again, like I said before, the relaxation and the 80% rule is we don't ever completely lock our legs or our arms like that. Okay, there's a little bend in the knees. And you can adjust your feet for your stance so that your knees are coming over your feet like that. You do not, one foot was turned out. Okay, so like that. You don't want to do that. See how the knees are kind of going in towards the arch of the foot? That will put strain on the inside of your knees, and you might not feel it right away, but if you keep practicing, it's not a good habit to get into, let's put it that way. Okay, so let's do some hip circles. Just going around, side to the back, side in front. Go the other way. So it's a little different when we do the narrower stance like this. You're just kind of working different areas. Let's open up even wider than shoulder width here. And now you can move more freely and notice like you get more of your inside thigh involved in this version of it. All right, other way. All right. Gives our upper body a little help here. Open it up. So take this arm, and I've got this hand here kind of on the back of my arm. If your arms are longer, you may reach up here. But again, don't strain. And this hand is just relaxed. This is basically a stretch for in here. And then you can look over your shoulder. Inhale, exhale, let it go. Other side. Doesn't matter, your arm can just be relaxed on your shoulder or hanging down. Exhale, let it go. Let's do one more on each side. Right. How about let's just do some neck turns. So just slowly going to the side and seeing if you can keep your shoulders down. So the chin is level and we're just going in a half circle, side to side. And top of the head, let me sit so you can see. And I'm not pushing my head down, I'm just letting it gently fall towards the shoulder. And it's just a little extra encouragement. Okay, lifting that up, other side. Always want to be gentle with our neck. Amazing, these little bones support this heavy head. All right, let's just do one more thing. I'll show you from here. So I'm just going to take my elbows forward and I'm curving my spine back and forward. I'll show you from standing. So like that. And two more. Okay, we are ready to do some more Qigong. So let's go back into that gentle bouncing, and really it's just your feet are flat on the floor, you're just kind of bouncing from the knees, and everything else is just hanging loose here. So again, we are lightly stimulating the chi from the inside with this bounce. Okay, let that come to stillness, and now let your hands come around like this in a round circle, and then relax your shoulders and just feel yourself standing in this way. Chinese say that humans are standing between heaven and earth. So just feeling that. And when they say heaven, they basically mean the stars, the sun, the sky, the cosmos. Notice if you're, so here's an example of like, don't look like we're doing much at all, right? But we're actually building chi very powerfully here. And if you did only this move and built this up over time from a minute or two to 5 minutes to 10 minutes to longer than that, you'd be doing some serious Qigong. But I'm not a big one for standing still like this. So just want to introduce this to you. It's called standing at stake. And this is often how we'll begin the practice. So you can, maybe you can feel how this is very centering too. Take an inhale and just let that go. Yeah, and you can just release. And you'll see me stop. I sometimes say something, sometimes I won't, where you just see me stop and release things. And that's again to prevent a lot of tension from building up. So my teachers that I learned from is, you know, pretty strict and severe. And there was just a very intense practice atmosphere, which was beautiful. But sometimes I'd be so practicing so intensely that at the end of the class, I'd have like so much tension built up in my body that I realized that's not a good way for me to practice, and probably not for most people. So that's why you'll see me periodically do these little like shake it out. Or so I can invite you to do that or do it on your own as you need to. And also, if you need water during class, you can take some. All right. So what I want to show you today is a series of Qigong movements that are good for balancing the nervous system. So actually, any kind of Qigong or yoga or massage, any of these things creates relaxation in the body, which is for the nervous system. But this is a set of movements specifically designed to release out of the body what's called the fight or flight pattern. And that is when the body gets triggered, and it's a stress response. So it originally developed to keep us alive when we lived in a world that was filled with predators, you know, a tiger that could eat you, or, you know, living without the protections that we have now and the way we live now. So our nervous system evolved to meet those conditions, and it hasn't really caught up with modern life. But yet we can respond to a loud noise, or we're driving our car and some crazy person like drives in front of us, cuts us off. That feeling of adrenaline, and then you go, this is just a natural thing the body does. We'll often go into some kind of nervous system response. You might have a wave of heat flush through you. Road rage is an example of somebody who got triggered, or they just got in their car and they were already triggered, and they're just like, they're in the fight mode, right? So fight or flight. The third thing that isn't talked about as much is freeze. And that's when you might get literally frozen or shut down or kind of checked out, like you're not paying attention. So, you know, like blanking out. So this is just, the body has these natural responses, and ideally something happens, you respond to it, and then you can release it out of your body and you don't stay in that state. but most of us have been trained away from releasing those stresses from the body, so they get built up. And then you might find yourself like, there's an example of, somebody who was in the war and they have PTSD, and now they are easily triggered by, somebody comes up behind them and they're perfectly peaceful, there's no danger, but they have associated that with something dangerous in the past. Or again, somebody talking loudly triggers some old memory. And again, it's pretty automatic. It's not that we're actively thinking about these things. So the world has been, I just think everybody's nervous system in this past year, because of all the uncertainty, the fear about the virus, the unknowns, what's happening with lockdowns and people getting, the whole thing. I don't need to tell you what it's been, but it's like we're living in this, what I call hyper-arousal state, where the nervous system is always kind of braced for danger, even if you're sitting on a couch in your living room. So that's what this form is for, helping balance that. So we're working here, we have two different sides or aspects of our nervous system. The sympathetic is what activates the muscles and our activities. The parasympathetic is what governs relaxation and sleep, and also things like digestion and cell repair. And that's why when you're sick, one of the things that they tell you, or when you're recovering from surgery or something, is you need a lot of rest. You do also need to move, but you need a lot more rest because your body is doing a lot of healing and repair during that time. Which is also why if you're having sleep issues, chronic sleep issues, you can start to have other health issues just because your body doesn't have enough time for all that repair. So what we're going to do is for the parasympathetic nervous system today, and what that means is it's very, very calming. So let's go into our practice here. So just getting your feet again, let's do hip width. Okay, just check out your stance by seeing what happens when you bend your knees. Make sure your knees are going over your feet. And some of that is about where your feet are, but it's also about you paying attention to how you're moving. Okay, so feeling that. And let's bring our hands up to here, and we will begin our first movement. So the hands come gently down and out like that. They don't go very far. Coming back, and as though your hands are tracing or surrounding a pillar. The pillar is standing in front of you, and it's very, very solidly rooted, and we're just running our hands down the length of the pillar, the column. Yeah, and this is called Calm the Waters. This is a small version. We do this in another Qigong set as well. And this movement is just communicating to the body. Okay, I'm here. I'm grounded. This moment, all is well. And try and keep your hands soft and not rigid. Inhaling and exhale. I may find my pace is slow for you. You might be used to moving faster. Try and match it if you can. Yeah, and again, this is slowing everything down. One. And then let your hands come to here. And now we'll move into our next form. This is called waxing lung. So we inhale. We can use our hands as an outside metaphor for what's going on inside in our lungs. So we inhale, expanding the lungs inside. Exhale, the hands come back. So expanding your lungs with your inhale. Strengthening and nourishing the lungs. A waxing lung. Waxing is like the waxing of the moon, where it's getting bigger. So feel your lungs expanding, getting bigger. And you don't have to take a huge dramatic like breath like that, but just breathing deeply into the lungs. Imagining and sensing how they expand. And then they contract a little bit on the exhale. Let's do 2 more. And if you feel like you know the movement, you don't have to look at me, then close your eyes or let your eyes be just kind of soft, like the lids are almost closed. And let's do 2 more repetitions, just an invitation to feel into your body, to communicate with it. Right, good. Let's move into our next form, and this is called sifting. So the hands are here, and again, on any of these, this one's not complicated. It's a little bit more than the previous 2. You can always welcome to just watch the first one and then join me, or just practice right along. So I'm going to inhale, lifting the arms, bending the legs. Come up to here. The hands come down and I rise in the legs. Another one, inhaling, soft hands, lifting up. Lower body sinks, and now the upper body comes down, the hands come down as the legs rise. So we're sifting yin and yang. Hands come up as the legs sink. This is the yin. It's moving towards the earth as the legs become more yang and they lift up. You don't have to dwell on those things. I'm just explaining how the name came to be, sifting the yin and yang. And as you come down, your hips kind of go back a little bit. You're not sticking your buttocks out, but there's kind of like a hinging at the hips, which I don't know if you can see from there. So I'll just show you. So the shirt is kind of loose there, but it's a little bit coming back. So I'm not coming straight down, I'm coming like that. Okay, let's do a few more of these. Inhaling as the hands rise, exhaling as the hands come down. And focus is not that strongly on the breath here, but I'm just giving you those instructions for those of you that want that. Everyone else can just breathe in your own natural rhythm. Okay, let's take a pause. Just put your hand on your belly and right on top. And just quick check-in with the body. And feel free to just shake out, release any tension. I don't know why. Mute. Okay. All right, let's do the last form in the series. And checking our time, perfect. Okay. So we'll do a little bit of walking the bear. And so here my hands are like that. And now I turn them so they're flat. I'm going to turn this foot. And if you need to, you can also turn this one. And I'm going to go a little forward with this and bend that front knee. Hands are going to come down and they're parallel. Like imagine you have a ball between your hands. Let's come to here, turn to the other side. 2 circles over the knee, but maintaining an erect posture. You're not really like falling or bending over the knee, so the back is straight. For deep, deep grounding. Planting this ball of qi deep into the earth, like a seed that's going to nourish into a plant. Okay, coming back to center, feet a little closer, cover one hand then the other. And let's get our feet pretty close together and just close your eyes and see how you're feeling right now. And then we'll just bow out of the practice and we'll come and answer any questions for you. Thank you for practicing with me today. I'm always amazed at how fast these classes go. All right, questions about anything we did or other Qigong questions, or if you want to share what that was like for you or how you're feeling, please feel free to unmute or type into the chat. Yeah. So. Yes, Martha. Did you want to ask something?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, I did feel.
I want to ask something. Oh, wait.
Okay. Well, you go first, Martha, and then we'll hear from
Okay.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I did feel a tingling in my fingers.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And yeah, that's happened to me before when I'm doing any particular exercise or even prayer.
Wait, I want to ask this one. Oh, my
Mhm.
phone's going to ring
Yeah.
again. My phone's ringing. I'm not
Okay.
Yeah, I just muted everybody out because when people are unmuted, then we can hear all the background sound that you have. So, but thank you for sharing that, Martha. If you have more to say, unmute yourself, feel free. But yeah, that tingling, so I didn't say that. Sometimes I do say that in class, that certain sensations that we have are typical signs of this qi energy moving. One is that tingling. Okay, I will address that in a minute. Tingling, warmth. Sometimes you might feel a little more moisture in your palms or saliva. For me, it started out mostly with just getting warmer. sometimes I would get uncomfortably warm and then I would have to either sit down, drink water, or just stop for a minute. But, these are all signs that the chi is getting activated. So that's very good. Yeah. Your
Hello?
breathing is, yes. Uh-huh.
Is she finished? You finished?
Yes, I'm finished
Okay.
with.
I wanted to ask you, yesterday you did a class today with the self-healing. You said it was being recorded, but you didn't give no notes. You sure it was recorded?
Yes, it was recorded, but you have to request the recording. You're not going to get it.
No, I know.
automatically.
I'm going to request the recording, but usually you give notes. Every class gives notes. You didn't give any class. I didn't get any class notes. That's why I
Yeah,
thought maybe.
right. I'm working on putting the class notes together for that class. I just didn't have them ready in time for that, but they will appear there again. And yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, honey. Thank you. I
Yeah,
just want to
sure.
know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for being interested in wanting to read the notes. So the comment about breathing. So it just notice it with compassion. And some of that is, there may be something with, the way your body is, but it could also just be a habit. So we have built up lifetimes of habit, and shallow breathing is a common habit. And I'm not saying this about you, but like as kids, one of the things we learn how to shut down around like things that are uncomfortable or scary or whatever, we start to hold our breath. And I'm not saying you're doing that. It could be that that's what's going on, or it could just be a habit. Also, sometimes postural, like if our chest is compressed, you can't breathe as deeply. So you can retrain yourself. And, that's one of the things that Qigong does, is it brings awareness. Yeah. So just noticing that it's harder for you to take a long, deep breath, and don't get into a huge struggle. But again, just, okay, I can't take a long, deep breath, but can I breathe a little bit more deeply? And like anything, it will get better. If you find that it doesn't, then I would check it out. I mean, it doesn't mean there's any major problem, but we should be able to take a deep breath. If our body is like pretty open and we're feeling safe, the body should be able to do that normally. So I'm glad you liked it, Martha. Yeah, you're so welcome. And again, so this is, see, that's the thing, is like Western medicine is very geared to like dealing with a problem. It's not as geared towards prevention, or, okay, I'm in good health. I'm not taking any medication, or I don't have, or maybe a little bit, but like I'm basically healthy. I go through my day. I can have enough energy for my activities. That's health for sure. But could I have more energy? Could I feel more alive? Could I take in deeper breaths and move my body more freely? So that's not about sickness to health. That's about levels of health and wellness. So Qigong is a tool for any of those things. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, Verna. I'm glad you had a good workout. So yeah, any other questions before we wrap it up? And thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. So I teach the Qigong for beginners twice a week. And I also teach Get Moving with Qigong. And that one is Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So we have a Get Moving class today. The question came from another class that I'm teaching, which is about self-healing. And that class is more on like different points and different ways that you can do simple things for yourself. Which Qigong is also self-healing, but it's specifically movement. And Ageless Grace, which I teach on Wednesday and Saturday. And that is playful movement done in a chair that is good for your brain and your spirit. So thank you all for being here, and have an awesome day. Stay healthy. Keep on breathing. Yeah, you're welcome. All righty. Take care.